up, guys? Welcome to Sketch Day Live, Friday the 13th edition. Thanks for joining and hanging out. Hope you're doing well. I got some good stuff here in the studio today. I was hoping actually that my new phone, I don't know what this is. Got some weird stuff on this phone. I was hoping my new phone would come this morning. What was I gonna say? Anyhow, no, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna stream earlier because I was hoping my new phone would come in time, but it didn't until just recently. So, all right, heads up, it is Fan Friday. Fan Friday the 13th. How did I miss that for the graphics? I'm so sorry. Anyhow, it's Fan Friday, so if you're watching on the Instagram, I will be piping all of this delicious business to... I gotta open an app here. I'm trying to do like 3 things at the same time. I'm gonna be piping this to YouTube, so you'll have the full HD output. Check that out. Plus my phone's acting weird. It really is. Oh goodness. All right. Let's see. Looks like you can hear me okay. All right. I had this audio app that I had to update. Anyhow, it's been a busy morning. Blessings to you too, Latrice. What's up and hello. So happy Friday. Okay. I was going to show you guys something fun here before we start. So this is, I'll just switch to the overhead actually. So here's my new phone. It did show up. I know not everyone's an Apple fan, but it's interesting for comparative purposes to look at the different phones. This is actually the first iPhone that came out. Look how small that is. It actually fits in your hand. Kind of crazy, right? Look at that. Super thick. For comparison, I can't show you my iPhone 11 because it's what's connected to YouTube, or sorry, Instagram right now. But this is the 7 Plus, I think. I tend to keep my old devices just as reference. I thought you guys would appreciate this. So there's the original iPhone and an iPhone 7 Plus. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Look at that. All right. And then Nicholas.jpg. Yes, it's my understanding that they have. And I've got some other updates there as well in terms of device testing. This is an iPhone 4, which was a little bit narrower, actually, than the original iPhone, but a little bit taller. So there is slightly taller. All right, so that was your iPhone 4. We're going to compare this guy to the new iPhone in this box, which apparently looks the same. But yes, so here's the 7 Plus. I'm a little bit scared to open this one, honestly, because I've heard that it's the same size as the 7 Plus, but with an enormous screen. So we're going to check it out just a minute here. And hopefully this is entertaining at least. We'll give people some time to kind of trickle in before we do our Fan Friday presentation. If you haven't yet as well, definitely share your sketch in the Discord. All right, I'll be loading that up as well to share with you guys your sketches. So anyhow, so for comparison's sake, here's an iPad mini. So we're going to use this for size comparison. This is my kid's, so it's kind of beaten up. Hey, gaming with Kira, that's cool. You have a craft channel too. All right, so that's an iPhone 7 Plus is that size. We've got the iPhone 4 right there, and here is the original. Look at how tiny that camera module is. Look at that. So tiny. Look at that, guys. All right, so let's lay them out here. Now let's do our live unboxing. Okay, so the other news I had that I want to share is, again, thank you to everyone who supports what I do. I'm really interested in doing creative. We're just doing this week's topic, Vashit. So that's the whole idea, is we have a challenge and then we show the work. But you can always show your work in the channel and get feedback there too. So I've been interested in doing reviews of products that creative people can use. So if you have things that you're curious about, here's what I'm willing to commit to do. I will purchase that thing with my own money because I'm not big enough that companies send me stuff. So even this iPhone, I may keep it, I may not, I may send it back. But I just wanted to kind of check it out. I've been using my phone a lot more lately, so let's go. This is actually fresh, brand new. I don't have a PS5 though, unfortunately, to review or share. So yes, bro, anime, I would see your sketch. I'm gonna focus on the weekly sketch challenge, which was sound. That was the sound. All right, that was the theme. So I'm happy to take a look though and share it, no problem. But I'm focusing on the weekly sketch challenge channel. Okay, weekly sketch challenge channel. So this is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Oh, I was saying, yeah, I'm happy to review products for creatives. That's something I want to do. So this is the 12 Pro Max. It's big, I will say that. It's huge. It's pretty freaking big. Gotta move that camera a little bit. There we go. It's pretty huge, first of all. But I did purchase some new MacBook Pro as well with the new Apple M1 chip. So I'm gonna be testing that specifically for creatives. So if you have any questions on the new MacBook Pro, I'll be getting it in about 3 weeks is what they're estimating, because I missed the initial order. But if you have specific questions about a creative workflow or things as a creative person you would want to know about Apple's new M1 processor, I will add that in my review. So let me know. Okay, so here it is. Let's see. It is so heavy. Oh my goodness. It's so freaking heavy. And to be clear, I haven't had a Pro Max in a while. I used to have a 10s Max actually. I've never had the 11 Pro Max, so if you have trypophobia, this will freak you out. All these holes. It feels heavy, it feels solid. I'm actually gonna go caseless this time with my phone. Woo! This thing looks like a piece of jewelry though. I think I'm gonna go caseless unless I'm working out outdoors, but so far it's pretty nice, I must say. And the glass, oh, that is nice. From an industrial design perspective, they did a really nice job. I think that's the millimeter wave 5G antenna port. As you can see though, it's a fingerprint magnet, but I don't mind. I don't mind. The back is beautiful, super clean. So let's turn it on. It's gonna take some getting used to, for sure. It's a unit. It doesn't bother me, the lack of the charge plug. I have GaN chargers, gallium nitride I think is the term. I have chargers, so USB-C chargers, I'm not worried. In fact, when I bought my iPad Pro, I had some issues with it, and then I took it back to the store and they gave me like an extra charger or two, so that was kind of fun. I do wish it was USB-C though. Ooh, that's weird. See, I've grown accustomed to the LCD color and bezel, so this is gonna take some getting used to. Anyhow, I wonder if I can. No, this is gonna take. This is what happened last time. Ooh, looks like I have 5G in my area. So I'm gonna do some tests later, but I wanted to show you guys. So let's compare here. Now, man, Latrice, I'm gonna live on the edge. Actually, I have the AppleCare Plus, and it's the iPhone upgrade program. So I know you pay a little bit extra, but I should be getting a new phone every year now. Because life's short, why not live a little, right? So this is so it's basically the same as an 8 Plus or 7 Plus. If this is what this is, 7 Plus, and it's the same size, but if this were all screen, actually it's bigger. But I'm kind of excited because I play a lot of chess on my phone. There's some drawing apps too that I might try out and review. But if you have specific questions about the creative, I guess there's no headphones either. I just realized that. No headphones in the box. It's a really nice box though. That's me drinking the apple Kool-Aid though. It's a nice box, but hey, you're right, Latrice. It'd be nice to have a charger. But yeah, pretty cool. Oh, let's compare it to the original. That's okay, bro, anime. I'll be live. I might come back on later today as well. I feel like being live. Had some gross personal interactions today that were not fun. So my happy place is streaming, so I may be back later, so don't worry. But yeah, there's the original iPhone, and here's where we are right now. Isn't that crazy? Like, just freaking crazy. I think I just got your sketch, Facete. But yeah, that's nuts. Like, look at that screen compared. I don't even think I have a charger for this one anymore. Let's see. Christian says, I think when you buy an Apple product, you're also buying a user experience with packaging. Really like the polished edges. Not sure on the big notch. You know, the notch takes some getting used to, but I've been using Apple stuff for a long time, and it doesn't bother me. At least this new direction and style. So you kind of just get used to it, and it doesn't bother me as much. So, all right. Oh yeah, this is the one I wanted to compare it to. So the 4, it definitely feels like a bigger, refined version of this ice cream sandwich of a phone right here. That's what it feels like. But man, it's heavy. I do not want to ever drop this thing, but so yeah, maybe Latrice, maybe you're right. Maybe I should get a case, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try that no case life for a bit. Here it is compared to an iPad mini. It's like bigger this way. Wow. It is pretty large. I mean, I don't want to mess up the stainless, so maybe I will get a case. We'll see. All right, let's move that out of the way. Let's get started. Let's get busy. Let's do the thing we do. It is Fan Friday, like I said, so let's switch over here. I've got the Discord loaded up. Receipts, there's your sketch. Nice profile picture, by the way. So we have a Discord for Sketch a Day. I'll post the link if you're new to this, but Fan Friday is your opportunity to share your work. All right. We try to keep it on theme though, so try to keep it on theme. You can always show your work in the Show Your Work channel though. So if you've ever used something like Slack, Discord is a lot like Slack. So you do have an opportunity to show your work. Here's a nice example, I think. We had this really great interaction on the Discord with a few people. Let's see. Petai Parak. I don't know how to say the name. He's been working on watch faces for some time right now, and has been going back and forth, and it's been cool to see the improvement that they've made. All right, so if you were to join the Discord, you'd see, but Tom Phage, I think it's Thomas Phage, actually took the time to like jump in and be like, here's the feedback, here's what you need to do. So this is what I'm talking about, and this is what I love about the Discord is everyone's kind of there to just be chill and help everyone out. So if you're looking to like level up and just get better, it's a really great way for you to do that. So check it out. Let's see. Yeah, so that was a really great interaction, and thanks T-Phage for putting that all together. All right, so we also have the weekly sketch challenge channel. So let's kick things off. Let's scroll back. Get to the beginning here. The theme was sound this week. I don't know where the beginning's at actually. All right, so we got T-Phage here with some sketches. I love rough sketches. Rough sketches to me, they're fun, they're free. It leaves enough to the imagination, you could say, when you're coming up with or when you're presenting something, and I like that. Plus, I like working quickly, so I certainly appreciate that. So nice work, T-Phage. Here's another sketch, a little bit of marker and pen. Maybe I'll overlay one of these. That'll be fun. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a screenshot of that for now. Let's see, or maybe I should save it to my files. Let's see. Well, actually, I don't want to show you all my business. Okay. So then we have Mauricio killing it. If you guys don't know who he is, he's on Instagram as well. All right, I'll post his profile. Really good stuff. If you're looking to like find a more like illustrated style, check him out, Mauricio Sanin. Sanin. All right, check it out. Let's see. Receipt says there's more sketches above. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're right. Mystery did a few here. Last week was self-portraits. All right, so mystery or mistry with a few sketches here. Really good pencil work. Really good. You can see the construction lines. Again, I love rough sketches, and you've been absolutely killing it, so keep it up. Keep inspiring. Here's another one, this violin. I actually love this one. It's pretty great, and nice job working on your construction lines and figuring things out. You know, I certainly, for me, sometimes struggle with the patience to do this kind of thing, but I appreciate you working it out and contributing to the channel. So thanks as always for being here and for submitting your work. Here's another one, a Walkman. That's a good one too. Maybe I'll sketch a Walkman. We'll do it in an ID sketching style. You have a weapon there, random. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Mauricio, here's some others that he's done. He does a really good job. You can kind of see it right here of just like doing this really subtle lighting effect, and that's some of what I kind of talk about when I do my demos, and you may have heard me mention reflected light. There's an example, really good example of, hey, this is on a white surface and that little bit of white is reflecting up. All right, quick chat check-in. Shout out to Mateus Almeida from Brazil. Hello. Curti2712, French student. Thank you. Appreciate the follow. Vasit Anil, hello. Latrice, as always. Jammy Fingers. Christian, Cybernev, Bro Anime. Latrice, Simon. Hello, Simon. Christian. Make sure I got everyone here. Asar. When I was doing the phone, he was like, thick phone. Yes, Niklas, I think I answered your question earlier, but as far as I know, Procreate has updated the layers cap on the iPad Air. So if you're looking for that, try it out. I'm still iffy on that, so I'm going to stick with the Pro myself. That's from my review. Explosive Yoda, Gaming with Kira, hello. The MLG Pro. Gaming with Kira says they have a YouTube channel, so look them up after and perhaps check out the channel. I love supporting everyone in our creative pursuits and endeavors, so keep creating, keep that passion going, stay happy, stay healthy. RV Car Design, hello. Jacob Gorecki. All right, so back to or Sketch Friday, or no, Fan Friday here. Like I was saying, I'm gonna switch here real quick. Just for a minute, I gotta make an adjustment on my stream. Anyhow, just what I was saying, he does a really good job of lighting in his scenes. So just pay attention to the texture and the reflected light and what's happening there. If you are watching on Instagram, by the way, I just posted a link to my YouTube. You can check that out because I do have my super duper handy, I don't want to make a spill here with my coffee, but I've got my dongles. I got my dongles dangling, pumping stuff out to YouTube. So you'll get a better experience if you check that out. All right. I don't know what just happened with my YouTube window, but it went crazy. Maybe I should do a behind the scenes sometime. I don't know how I'd actually do that, but showing you guys what it's like here streaming. And you'll be like, holy crap, you're paying attention to all those things. Thankfully today there's only 4 monitors I'm watching, so thanks RV Car Design. Also has a channel, you can check them out. You're not allowed to post links in the chat. Not my rule, that's just YouTube, so I can post links, but you can show RV Car Design some love as well. Hello, Claudia. All right, let's keep going. So like I said, really good use of lighting. You can see it here, very subtle, right? Nice use of texture and so forth. And there we go. Another example of just beautiful, subtle lighting. All right, so you can check that out. Let's see. Alien says, Alien, and Neil Kumar. Check out his channel. I'm not sure which channel, but yeah, feel free, guys. I mean, if you see an interesting username and you're like, huh, I wonder what they do, check them out. I think you can, if at least if you're on a computer, you can copy and paste. So it's all good. All right, so that's Mauricio's sound concepts. We got a gerbil, of course. I wonder who that is. That's Mecha Art, of course, with a gerbil with a sonic cannon. I was telling Mecha on the Discord this week that I appreciate his unwavering commitment to the gerbil. So yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so let's keep going. This looks like, oh yeah, mystery. So I assume you drew these from observation. Always a good exercise. You know, trying to interpret what you see. We have Explosive Yoda with a saxophone. Super quick. We did do a saxophone on the stream the other day. I'm not sure if it was this day, but I did do a record player. Ah, here we go. I'll show these in a little bit as well. Show off some of my stuff. And then we have Vasit here. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so my apologies. I'll just call you V. We've got V. V's work. Super clean sketch. Yeah, I used to sketch like that when I was in school, like try and push myself to get like super tight clean sketches, but yeah, it takes so much time. So yeah, we're gonna draw and have fun today. I'll probably overlay a couple of these, maybe not a couple, maybe one or two. I'm not gonna touch Mauricio's stuff. Oh, this is a noisy cricket. I guess that counts. Mecha Art, I missed that. Noisy cricket. Is it a sonic weapon? Is the noisy cricket a sonic weapon? I don't know if Instagram's even working right now because my phone, like I said, seems to be possessed. So I'm excited to get this one set up and ready to go. It's heavy, like I said. It's heavy. All right. Let's warm up, get things going. We got Procreate. So many old sketches here. All right, I'm gonna create a 17 by 11 canvas. And I hope I didn't charge my pencil overnight. So I hope it's okay. Let's see, let's find out. Okay, I should be good. I should be good for a bit. I should be all right. All right, I've got to check on this YouTube thing, or sorry, Instagram thing. Looks like it's working. So it looks like it's working, but my connection to the computer is off or severed, so anyhow. That's right, Rahul. You can always come to the Discord and show your work. All right, so let's get started with our warm-ups. I hope you guys warm up every day. I am using my brush kit for Procreate today. And I did have some question in the Discord. So I'm actually going to take some time today to go over the interface in Procreate as well after I warm up here. All right, so straight lines. Let's get some circles going. Again, on Instagram, if you want the full feed. Plus, my camera is acting weird today. My iPhone, I should say. It like keeps cutting out. So if you want the full thing, head over to YouTube. All right, so quick warm-up, circles. Here we go. Special shout out and thanks to Paul Sohi as well for... I should ask him if his name's pronounced Sohai or Sohi, but anyhow. AKA Final Kaiju for putting together some beats. I've got some other beats on order from another friend who's going to be putting some together, so excited for that. just draw in some ellipses to warm up as well. And then we'll do just a quick app overview. If you have any specific Procreate questions, feel free to drop those in chat. I'll try and get to them. But I think I'm gonna do a couple either overlays or redraws. Probably just a redraw, frankly. But I'll try and do that as well. Yeah, my phone is acting weird. So it may die. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so let's go over the interface real quick. So when you open Procreate, in fact, I will quit the app here. But when you open Procreate, you're presented with essentially a gallery of all your work. A couple things I've noticed in the gallery, I'll just give you a little overview. You can scroll up and down, kind of see your work. So you may notice the eighth sketch, the one just below this computer mouse here, is vertical, and I want the canvas to actually be sorry, my little picture is off. So I want the canvas to be rotated. So you can actually pinch and zoom, or not pinch and zoom, but pinch to rotate. So 2 fingers and rotate, and I can rotate that canvas. So there's a little trick for you. The other trick is if you want a preview of your sketch without having to open the file, you can pinch and zoom out. And I'll give you a preview. So it's not your file that you're working on, but it gives you the ability to at least preview. And then you can kind of scrub through and see your sketches as well. So pretty handy if you're just trying to navigate through here. So Anil, what I would do is save some of those questions and then post them in a Discord, and that would be probably the best thing. But like I've said before, when you go into Discord, you want to spend some time getting to know people. Don't just come in hot and be like, give me all the things, you know, like just be chill. It'll be cool. Lots of people willing to help. So feel free to join and ask questions there. All right. So there's a couple of things. You can pinch to preview, pinch out to preview, or rotate. I don't know why it's not doing it again. Thinks I want to open, but I just want to rotate. Anyhow, there we go. So you can pinch to rotate. Sometimes I don't know why it's not working here. There we go. All right. My finger technique probably needs a little bit of brush up. Okay, so that's that. You can select a bunch of these, okay, and then stack, preview, share, duplicate, or delete. You can import stuff from your files or import photos as well if you tap photo, and then just generally scroll. So now when you want to create something, you can tap the plus. So the plus sign is going to be your new document command. Is there a way to search for an image or file name in Procreate? I don't know, actually. That's a great question, Marzi. I don't know. You know, if I pull down, can I tap and hold? Nope. Yeah, I don't know that there's a way. I'm not super organized. I have a few stacks here of work, but I'm not super organized, and I don't necessarily love the file handling in Procreate, but I suspect it's something they're gonna work on. At least I hope it's something they'll work on. But if anyone knows, feel free. I will say there's probably things I don't know that there's probably things I don't know that you guys know. So try H point. I'm not sure what H point is. Okay. So I can hit plus, and then you have a bunch of options here. I can make my own preset. If I tap that little icon, I can assign dimensions, color profile, change the time-lapse setting. So if you want to record in 4K, you can do that. You can record lossless or using high efficiency video codec if you want. You can change the canvas properties as well, and so on. So you can customize that to your heart's content or use some of the presets. I believe the presets stopped, at least my presets stopped at 4x6 photo, but I've created a few and I'm lazy, so I didn't label them. But the 17x11 is what I typically use. Sometimes a bit bigger if I'm doing something like a poster or a large image. I'll show you how to add references in just a sec. Facet. So let's just tap on this canvas here, and the interface is fairly simple. There's basically two spots to pay attention to. And a few shortcuts. All right, so if I want to get back to the gallery of images, I just tap gallery, and that's gonna push me back out. If I want to adjust settings, I tap on the little wrench here, and I can insert a file, insert a photo, take a photo, add text, cut, copy canvas, and all that. I can crop and resize. There's a bunch of settings here you'll just have to dig into. If you want to share a file, there's a couple ways to do it. You can tap on share under this settings, and then it'll give you some options. You can share a Procreate file, you can share PSD, PDF, PNG, and so forth, or share the layers out as well. Oh, interesting. H point. Yeah, I've never seen that before, Lines. Thanks for sharing. I'll have to check that out. Maybe I'll review it myself. There's also adjustments. So if you tap on the magic wand, and that's the, I guess, technically third command from the left, then that's going to allow you to do hue, saturation, brightness, Gaussian blur, a bunch of stuff there. This is your selection suite. So if I want to select, and I tap on this, think S select, so tap on that, I can actually draw, and you get like a little marching ants area. And if I want to move that around, in addition to these commands at the bottom of the screen, if I want to move that around, then I can tap on this little arrow. Now it's not letting me do that because there's nothing in the layer, or it's a hidden layer. So let's go ahead and try that again. And just ignore what I'm doing for now. If you're new to Procreate, I just need to put some pixels on the layer. But now I can make a selection. Say, for example, just draw with your pencil like so. And now if I want to move, transform, manipulate, okay, that's still selected. All right, it's still selected. But I can now move this to wherever I want. So if you want to transform things, you can do that as well. Lines is awesome. Yeah, I haven't tried out H point, but okay. So you might be thinking, well, you made some changes. How do you undo and redo? Well, if you just take two fingers, all right, so if you just take your two fingers and tap on the screen, I tend to keep my fingers fairly far apart. And also I do want to point out that if you two finger tap and your pencil is close to the screen, it may not register the two finger tap. That's crazy. Looking at the overhead camera, there's details you can't see on the screen here. That being said, let's do it. Two finger tap, and you can see that now went back in place. If I want to redo, I can three finger tap, and now it's back. So undo, redo, undo, hopefully. Sorry, I had a little thing there. Okay, so undo, and then redo. There we go. Undo, redo. All right. So let's just undo that. And then there's commands here you can play with if you want. So flipping things horizontally, vertically, you can rotate 45 degrees, fit to the screen. I'm not sure what this does. Oh, the interpolation, so how the transform happens, or we can reset and jump back to the beginning. So pretty handy. I always say just try and experiment and see, don't worry about completely messing up your drawing. In addition to that, there's different ways to transform. So I can select distort, for example, which is going to allow me to pick a corner of this shape, this box, and kind of drag it around. I'll switch back to the iPad view so you guys on YouTube can see that, but I can drag this corner now and transform things. I can also pick warp, which basically throws a grid up, and I can pick these corners or anywhere here really and warp the shapes. Particularly useful if you have a texture you're trying to wrap, or if you're just trying to modify a part of your sketch. you can use that as well. All right, so pretty handy tool. So let's go ahead and reset, and you can see it goes back to the original. So pretty handy. Don't be afraid to play. You can always undo, redo, change, tweak, and adjust things as you go. There's also a smudge tool. Well, let's see. Yeah, so here you have your brushes. Let's go to brushes now. So we're moving across the top of the screen. If I tap on brushes, here's my brush library. So on the left side, we have a slider up and down. Okay, and there's a bunch of brushes built in that you can play with. Okay, so there's charcoal brushes, for example. Here's what they kind of look like. And if you're drawing with an Apple Pencil, the brushes are actually responsive to how you draw. So if you're drawing with the side of the pencil like this, you're going to get a different shade than if you shade with the top of the pencil, for example. So play with the brushes. Try to think of it like, hey, this is a real material or whatever. Here's a burnt tree charcoal brush. I never really use charcoal brushes, so and really there's just one brush set I use just because this is how I draw. All right, here's another kind of pencil charcoal brush. All right, you can put it on its side, you get a different feel than if you draw on the top, for example. This is actually kind of fun. I may have to play with this little pine brush, but you can see here's some of the textures you get, right? Pretty cool. So don't be afraid to play with that. All right, so next we have smudge, and smudge is going to use the brushes that you have. So if you want to smudge with, say, this round brush, I'll just pick randomly, right? If you like to draw with smudging, you will be in heaven. I don't smudge when I draw, but something you can play with. And then we have the eraser. And if you tap on any of these three icons, okay, if you tap on any of these three icons, then you have the option to pick a brush. So I can erase with a round brush, like so. Let's see. Alien says, this channel is more about how to draw than design knowledge. True, but I will answer design questions from time to time, for sure. But I'm not going to teach a full course on how to design products. So yeah, you can try that. And then the fourth icon over, you're going to have your layers. All right, so we've been drawing on a layer called layer 2. If you want to turn the layer off, you can hit that check mark, and now the layer is invisible. You cannot draw on an invisible layer. It's going to scream at you, hey, the layer's hidden. So when you do that, it's going to say you can show layer or open layers. So let's hit show. It turns that layer on. Okay, just like so. So if you want to draw on a new layer that's fresh, make sure you hit that plus button, which creates a new layer, and then make sure that it's checked and active. All right, and then I can come in and do some drawing. All right, so I don't want, should I draw a character? Maybe I'll draw a little character or something. But that is how that's how you set up your layers to draw. All right, so there's my little character dude. Okay, so if I want to turn that off, we can just uncheck, and then if you need to adjust the color of your brush, there's a little circle at the top right corner of the screen. Okay, really hard to see if you're watching on Instagram, so again, if you're interested in this walkthrough, be sure to check out YouTube. Okay, but if I tap on this circle, it pulls up a color picker window, and I have different ways to pick those colors. I think the default is the disc, right? I think the default in Procreate's the disc, but I like the classic square. You can also use a color harmony picker, which I have no clue how to use. Let's see if I can figure something out. Yeah, see, I have no idea. I'm not even gonna mess with that. You can do value sliders, HSB or RGB, or you can pull up color palettes if you have those. All right, so those options are at the bottom of your screen in Procreate if you want to play with those. So I'll just jump back to classic. You can move around, pick the color. Little tip here as well, if you have pixels on the canvas, so I'm gonna just use this ink brush. So let's say I draw, let's make sure our canvas is visible, or our layer is visible, right? So let's say I draw a shape like this, and I just want to fill it in All right, just make sure there's a continuous line of pixels here. Then I can drag and drop and it'll just fill it in. Okay, so that's how you fill a shape in Procreate. You just drag and drop and now it's filled in. Cool. So I'm going to undo that. Let's see, what else is there with color? It does have the history of the colors. I created a little palette for myself of quick colors. So I have some neutral grays, cool and warm grays, red, you know, just some general colors. So you can make your own palette if you want. So you go into palettes. If you hit plus, you can create a new palette from the camera file, photos, whatever. It'll pick the colors in there and create a color set for you. So that's something you can play with if you want. But for me, I just stick to some very basic colors. What's up, Mehul? Cozy Corner, hello. This is the 12.9 inch iPad Pro. All right, so that's the controls on the right, but let's dig a little bit deeper. So when you do select a brush, there's a couple things I want to show you. If you want to export a brush or brush set, you can tap and hold. Is it tap and hold or swipe? I always forget. I always forget. It's not doing it here. Hold, please. Okay, I forget. Anyhow, oh, it's just tap. It's not tap and hold. It's just tap. So if you just tap once on the brush is here. Just tap and then tap again. You can rename, delete, share, or duplicate. So if you want to make a copy of some brushes here. Oh, nice, Latrice. I've been thinking about getting the new watch. I think this is the Series 4 Apple Watch. So if you tap and then tap again, this little contextual menu pops up. And now I can share. So if I want to export all these brushes and share them with someone, you can do that. Now I will say that as a creator who makes brushes, please be respectful of creators who do that. So don't just, you know, send brushes to everybody, and you just want to make sure you support your creators. So that being said, you can do that with individual brushes as well. So a lot of things in Procreate, and I'll go back to the menu layer, or sorry, the layer menu as well. You can swipe to the, what's this, technically to the left. Swipe to the left and you'll have some options here: share, duplicate, or delete. So if I want to create a variant of, say, this round brush, I could actually duplicate it, and now I have round brush 1 and round brush 1. Now that's annoying because it's the same name. So what do? Well, if you tap on it, then you'll have tons of options here. Okay, so if I go to about this brush, all right, we can rename the brush, reset. All right, so tap up here, and if I want to call this, oops, let's use the keyboard. So I'll call this sketch a day live round. All right, and then hit done. So now it's updated. Done. Now I'm not gonna do a full brush making demo right now, but I will consider that in the future. Okay, I'm not gonna show you everything, but these are the options you can play with: stroke path, taper, shape, grain, how the brush is rendered, wet mix, color dynamics, and so forth, and controls specific to the pencil. So playing with things like tilt, and what happens when you tilt the Apple Pencil. Those are all things you can do when you are messing with brushes. So not going to do that right now, but something that I can get into in the future. I know at least one of you has requested it. I won't call you out. At least one of you has requested a how to make brushes video. Forward Given Gaming is asking, how am I streaming on my iPad? I am using a dongle, this thing, and it connects to a Mac Pro, and it's streaming through to YouTube. So that's what I'm doing. And I use OBS as my software. That's what I use. All right, is this helpful so far? Do you guys have any like specific questions? There was a request yesterday and I thought, okay, let me just take some time to go through the interface at least, and so you guys can kind of get your feet wet, and then I'll probably do 2 sketches, I think, and then call it good for today. All right, so on the layers, like I mentioned, back in the layer menu, there are a couple things you need to pay attention to and interaction. So one of those is when you tap on a layer, so just tap once with your finger or the pencil, it's going to pull up a contextual menu. So you can rename, select, copy, fill, clear, lock, alpha, mask, all that stuff. I work quick, so I don't typically use a lot of these commands beyond merging the layers down or creating a group. If I want to merge some layers down, so let's say I've got a red spot here. Let's just put a red spot on the canvas. Okay, maybe it's a red sun because this is 5 billion years in the future and our sun is dying. So let's say there's a red sun and I want to like combine these layers. I can tap on layer and you can do a gesture. It's hard to do when it's just 2 layers, but I'm going to try and show you anyways. So you can take your 2 fingers and like, I did it on the same layer anyways, but you can you can pinch and then release. Okay, and now it's merged. So just a shortcut. If I want to, I tried to undo on my other keyboard here. But if I want to merge those all together, then I can also tap on the layer and hit merge down and those get merged. If I just want to create a group, however, I can tap and hold on the layer and notice it gets a little bit bigger in sides. Okay, so tap and hold, now it's a little bigger. Now I can kind of drag this. I can rearrange my layers or drop one on top of the other, and now I have a new group. And I can rename that group if you like to be organized, that kind of thing. So that's how you do groups. If I want to flatten the group, I can tap on the group itself and hit flatten. And now it's combined all those layers in that group. So it is handy in the sense that if you're just working, you're plugging along and you've got tons of layers, right, with stuff on them or whatever. And let's just change colors so you can kind of see here. So I've got stuff on layers and I want to combine these down. I can actually just take my fingers and like pinch all of these down. So you see how that's like pinching down right now? So I can pinch all of these down into one thing, and now they are one layer. All right. And I can move these all around or scale and place. Cool. So last thing, and I probably should have mentioned this when I was looking at the brushes here, but we do have some sliders on the left side of the screen. So on the left side of the screen here, right, there's these 2 sliders. Okay, it's a little hard to see on the overhead, but those 2 sliders, this top one is going to adjust the brush size, and you can see the preview there. So if you want a big area of paint in this instance, or if I want to go really small with the diameter, I can do that all with the same brush. All right, so that's brush size. This icon in the middle will hide your interface, I believe, right? Or am I imagining things? Maybe I am imagining things. Oh no, that's a loop. My bad, it's a loop. So if you want a loop to pick a color, that pops up. I thought it was the hide interface command. I'll show you how to do that though. And then below that, we have a slider for opacity. Okay, so slider for opacity, just like that. All right. All right, Tom. Appreciate it. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. All right, so now you guys are experts at Procreate, right? You have all the secrets you need to know. I actually think most digital packages have enough similarities that it's fairly easy to kind of navigate. And so I'm just importing some images here so we can sketch. But I don't want my business on the screen, you know what I'm saying? No business up there. That's the, I guess that's the plus and minus of some Apple products, is they're all connected. So you You can change the setting for that if you want to. I'm not sure what you mean, but anyhow, everything's connected. So if I take a picture on my phone or some other device, it'll like just dump everything. So if you want to add a reference image, I'll just show you. You can do insert a file or insert a photo. It's going to open your photo album. I'm not going to do that right now, but I can hit insert a file. And these are some files. I think this was a week we did transportation. So I could, for example, pick something like this car. It's going to import it and then place it on the canvas. So that's how you do it. When you do that, it automatically puts you into, oops, sorry. I'll do that again because I didn't realize I was still on my face. All right, so tap the wrench, insert a file. You have some options here. This is based on your iCloud storage or whatever, which is what I'm using. And tap on the image, and now it says importing, and it automatically puts it into a transform mode, so you can now use it as a reference. So that's one way to do it. You can also take a picture of something and import it as well, and that'll also work. So in this case, there's that car sketch. I don't need it. As far as the layers go, if you want to delete something, just swipe to the left and you have options to lock, duplicate, or delete. I'm going to delete that layer. All right, so let's start with this Walkman. And I think, like I said about mystery sketch, I'm actually going to just select a portion of this. Now with the selection tool, you can do this in two ways. You can draw. With the new Procreate file, you can add a reference file, but not on the canvas. I might be wrong. I'm not sure if I don't use that, so I can't speak to that. But if you do find out, feel free to share that in the Discord. But this is how I use reference images. So with the selection tool, when I tap that S, we have these options that slide up now. You can actually just tap points on the layer and get like a geometric selection, or you can draw with your finger or draw with the Apple Pencil. So we have options on how to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and tap on the layer in these corners because I kind of just want to isolate this Walkman. So now that it's selected, I'm going to take 3 fingers. Sounds complicated, but I'm going to take 3 fingers and swipe down on the screen, and that is going to pop up with a menu. You can see that there, copy and paste. So I can cut, copy, I'll duplicate, cut and paste. Now, for me, I did not know this command existed for a while, so I used to do this in a very roundabout way. I've been using Procreate now for, I guess, what would it be, 4 years since it came out. And before this command existed, it would take several steps to get a duplicate of a selection on a layer, usually involving some painting and erasing. Okay, so now I'm just gonna hit duplicate. I could have hit copy or cut and paste too, but I'll just delete that. And now I have this little selection. So I'm going to use that as a reference, and let's go ahead and make a new layer. I like to work in lots of layers, and let's try and be quick about this one. So again, this is my Sketch-A-Day 2 Mega Pack. Has about 30 brushes in it that I use for product design specifically, but a lot of my illustration work as well. Pretty much any creative work, I'll use these brushes. You can find those on my website. Ooh, pardon me, at sketchaday.com. In fact, I'll just post the link, because I know you guys don't like to Google stuff. All right. They've been on sale for a while. I think I'm gonna end that sale soon, but they have been on sale for a while. You can check them out there. Or better yet, if anyone's used them in chat and you actually like them, you can ask people about them. If you don't, that's totally fine too. All right. Cool. Let's go. Let's do our Walkman. All right. So I think I'm going to change the perspective here. I'm not going to draw your Walkman, but a Walkman. So I'm going to start with a little box like so. Now remember, we warmed up, so should be nice and warm. Now the difference here with Mystery Sketch and mine, or one of the differences I should say, is the perspective. So I'm doing a 3-point perspective. Okay, you've got these lines that appear to converge at a 3rd point, these that appear to converge at 1 point, and these that converge at another. So that's your 3-point perspective. That's what I'm doing. I did neglect to mention that in Procreate as well, if I almost said if you suck, if you're not great at drawing, let's see, Vasit says, figured it out, setting canvas reference on. Oh, you're talking about the guides, or just settings, canvas, reference on. Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems very complicated, and I don't want to mess with that, so I'm not going to do that. I'd much rather just put it in a corner and draw. But hey, if it works for you, cool. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, 3-point perspective. And the reason for that is things in real life tend to at least exhibit, for the most part, a 3-point perspective appearance. So that's what we're doing here. Sketch fast, keep it going. Should I do some headphones? Maybe I will. Let's do some headphones too. All right, now I know we need like play, pause, and all that. So to make my life a little simpler, let's go ahead and just offset like so. So I'm tweaking the design a bit too. I'm not gonna hold steady to what you have. I'm trying to remember. There's like rewind, you'd have play, stop, fast forward, and maybe record or something like that. So this could be a red button. And then we'll do play, pause, rewind, that kind of thing. Keep it sketchy. I'm not sure if play would come before this or not, but we'll just run with it. All right. Always work light till you get it right, and then when you're ready, you can throw it on. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I don't use guides. But in Procreate, you do have the ability. So if you're drawing an ellipse, for example, or even a line. So if I draw a squiggly line like this and then stop and hold, it's snapped into a straight line. Okay. I think that's called snap line or quick line. I forget. But I don't really use those unless I really, really have to, or I just want to put like one nice crisp line in, and then I can do the rest. That's fine. You can also do it with ellipses like that. It snaps to an ellipse. I can hit edit shape. If it thinks I was trying to do a line, then I can say line or ellipse, and then you can manipulate these points. Now, the reason I don't like that is it tends to, I'm not saying always, but it tends to suck the life out of your sketch. So I much prefer not, personally anyways, doing that. All right. Throw some screws on. I feel like this thing needs some like 80s ribbed surface. Ribbed for your musical enjoyment. Like a speaker, right, guys? I keep hearing doors open and close in my house, and I'm not sure what's happening. It's stressing me out a little bit, but you know, kids will be kids. All right, a couple of marks there, and let's see. Let's chamfer that edge like so. So in terms of design, I mean, I like to sprinkle design lessons through, but certainly not a we're not doing a college level design class here, but I'll talk about composition. So things like here, you may have seen me extend this line over. I'm trying to find where the implied lines or even functional breaks might be in the product that makes sense. So if I need to add something, you know, like let's say hypothetically this is some sort of light, then I would find some compositional benefit in continuing that line through, because it's a bit more pleasing to the eye than having it come off here, for example. All right, so that's the idea when I do that. Man, I'm excited to try out that new iPhone. Aman is asking, can you help me with orthographic water bottles? Yeah, go to the Discord, post your work. The best, the other advice I'll give you too, Let's make this Sony in honor of the PlayStation launch today. But the other thing is, like, you got to meet people halfway. So if you join a Discord and you're like, hey, everybody help me, and you're not really trying or being clear, or you kind of expect people to do it for you, I don't think that's the best approach. So take some time and try for yourself first, post your work, and then get that feedback, all right? But it's, to me anyways, it's better than Instagram, because on Instagram it's hard to keep track of things. It's hard to really have some dialogue and really even, I think, drill into things on Instagram. I don't know what just happened, but sometimes Procreate crashes too, I will say. Always unfortunate. All right, so I'm gonna do some offset ellipses here, and now do some teeth. I think that's how these things looked. I don't remember. I suppose I'm dating myself, and I don't mean taking myself out, but aging myself by referencing some of this stuff. You know, a corded telephone would be fun. Do you remember those phones where it was all corded phones? So once upon a time, young people, I think my kids are trying to come in. Anyhow, once upon a time, phones did not look like this thing, right? Once upon a time. And they had cords. And so if you wanted to have a conversation in like another room, because each house had like one phone. How many phones did you guys have in your house? At least growing up for me, I had one phone, and that one phone would have to like be used in multiple places. So you'd get like a really long telephone cord or cable, and that cable is what you would use, right, to have a call like in your bedroom or something. You know, if you're talking to that person you like or whatever, you'd have to like go off with this, 30-foot cable. You still have them in your cupboard. That's cool. I'm not sure what you mean about thicknesses. Do you mean line weight, Vasit? V? I'll just call you V from now on. All right, let's do some rough pencil shading. Again, part of the reason I like this pencil anyways is the default pencil seems to be more of an art pencil. This one I created to be more of like a design, a colored pencil you would use in design. So if you're doing car sketching or that kind of thing, typically we would use, some sort of colored pencil. And so I wanted to replicate that. You can tilt and shade, but it has a bit crisper tip, if you will, than the pencil you'll get in the app. So, and this is created again from scratch. So all right, let's throw some headphones in. Maybe I'm just gonna do one sketch. We'll see. So basically, line weight. I can. Let's do line weight on the next sketch I do. And yes, there is always a mystery button. Okay, so I'm gonna move my reference sketch over. The reference feature is interesting because it feels like a feature that probably took a lot of work to develop, but I don't see the major benefit just yet. Maybe I should. Okay, so rough sketch, ellipse, like so, and then I don't know if Peta Patrick is going to be watching this, but I know they were struggling with ellipses in perspective. So here's an example where I think you could take that box approach and draw an ellipse here, and then figure out where the next ellipse is and so forth. But usually what I do is I'll just draw an axis, right? An axis for that ellipse. So whether it's like this, and there's going to be another headphone like so, and then I can kind of come in and then draw my ellipses for my earbuds or earphones. I guess these were more of the rounded, puffy headphones, right? Something like that. We'll definitely have to make this thing yellow. Yellow is going to be our retro color here. And I'll do another ellipse here for that spongy puff. If you need to, you can always erase and clean up, but again, I've been trying to speed up on my digital sketching a bit more. So I'm gonna try and just go with the flow here, much like I would with a real, pencil. Say that as I undo again. But I've just noticed that when I personally sketch digitally, things tend to slow down a little bit. Actually, that would not be like that, so let's get this band in. Yeah, so I'll save line weight for the next one. Maybe I'll do like a simple smart speaker sketch or something. Since the theme this week is sound, unless you have a specific, like, hey, I want to see a car, but I do cars a lot. Okay, I'm making this earmuff a little bit smaller just because it's further away from us. And let's hint at some shadow. Now, the way I've sketched this headband, is that the correct term? These earphones is such that I want the muffs to be in contact with the ground, so almost like this, right? We're looking at it from the side, so that's why the shadow looks the way it does, and these ellipses. I know it feels maybe a little bit weird. All right. Thank you, Eder Matos. Gracias. Or is that Italian? I can't tell. Is that Italian? Either way, thank you very much. Much appreciated. All right. I think just for the sake of composition, and you may have noticed these are on different layers, so I can move this around, right? Or if I could scale it if I want, I could rotate just a little bit. So if I want to rotate this, just a touch, just a titch. And so for composition's sake, I think I want to show the I/O block, I guess you could say. So maybe it's where the microphone, or not the microphone, the headphone goes in, and then maybe there's like a switch or something. So again, design advice, since you guys say, some of you anyways, I'm not giving you advice. Right, we have a concentric circle. Oops, it's a terrible perspective line. We have a concentric circle here, right? So concentricity is another way to create relationships between forms and shapes. And then on this part, I could put like the headphone jack, and then on this part, maybe some like functional button or switch of some sort, right? But you have this concentric relationship with the circles that make up your I/O block, and so that helps things be a bit more understandable for your end user or consumer if you're actually designing a product, for example. All right, so that's what I'm thinking right there. And let's just leave it because it's kind of cool, I guess. All right, so now I'm gonna do our headphone cable. I'm gonna have it go around the back. Around the back of the Walkman. Walkman. What if a Walkman wasn't actually an audio player, but someone who specialized in a certain type of cooking with a wok? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, that's their title. So what do you do for a living? I'm a Walkman. So wait, you're not a sous chef? No, I'm a Walkman. Walkman. Sketchy Day Live, thanks for joining. Hope that wasn't offensive. I have offended people sometimes, so apologies if that's the case. Let's put a little scribble on the jack there. So now we got a headphone jack. And I'm gonna have this go back out like so. Just, you know, create compositionally. It's an interesting direction. The way things flow. I'm gonna have it go through. Should I have it go through one? Now let's do both sides, because the old school headphones, right, you had to have the two cables kind of coming together. So it should really like be something like this, and some sort of way to connect those together. Just like that. So a couple ways to handle this. If you want, you could shade like I am right here. So just shading and then add your color, or we can just go full color and just go for it. Now I am going to use that technique I had shown you of merging the layers together. So I'm kind of locking in the position of things right here by erasing this. You don't have to erase, you could just put color in front, but I'm going to go ahead and erase. Take this layer, layer 6, tap and hit merge down. So now this is all one layer. Okay, this is all one layer, just like so. And now I can start shading. So to shade, just like yesterday, I'm going to use the, let's go ahead and turn off mystery sketch for now, but I'm going to use the real marker brush and see if we can shade this like we would with real markers. And I'm going to try as much as possible to not erase here, because I want this to have a nice sketchy feel to it. A little bit lighter here for reflected light. And the way this brush works, okay, is it does have buildup. So these streaks, if I want to get rid of them, I can just kind of hit the sketch a few times. All right. Maybe I will erase. Can't allow that to be there. Since it is marker though, actually let's go ahead and erase, because we can use a technique that I've used on paper quite a bit before. Let's see, I'm gonna just do clear. Hold on, my kids are knocking. What's up?
I cleaned I cleaned the rooms.
Okay, thanks.
I'll just clean the bathrooms.
Well,
So when
you
he's
can
done,
play.
can we play?
Sorry guys, I made them a deal that if they scrub the toilets, that I would let them play their video games, so they were kind of champing at the bit to get that done. All right. Where was I? Redo, undo. What happened? Okay. So 3-finger swipe, or actually, let's go back to my selection. I forgot where I was. All right, let's just do it again. Let's do it again. So selection tool, make a selection here. And then I'm gonna hit clear. When did it? Oh, it clears the selection. I thought it was clearing the area. Oh well. So I'll just pick this and then I'll just do a cut and paste, and that'll put it on its own layer. And then I can just delete that, because really what I want to do now is I'm gonna make another selection here. And this is something we do with marker sometimes in product sketching, is you'll kind of take tape, like actual tape. I don't think I have mine close by, but you'll take tape and put the tape on the paper and then just like overdo it. You can do it with like airbrushing as well for your spray, your overspray. What app is this? This is Procreate on an iPad Pro. And if you're watching on Instagram, definitely check out the YouTube. It's being pumped out in high def for your enjoyment and education, edutainment. Thank you, Fabian or Fabian. All right, let me think here real quick. So, okay, back to the brush. All right, so I'm back on the brush. So now I can actually shade this in a different way. So if I want to just go across the front, like so, back and forth with the marker, I can do that. And now we have kind of this gradient with what you could say are reflections in the front, particularly if this is shiny. We can do that. I can make a selection on the far side here. Let's just make this old school AF for rendering. All right, I can make a little darker color. Now yellow is really challenging. If you've ever rendered or colored something yellow, you kind of have to lean into, you know, shifting the hue a little bit along with your saturation and your value to really get, let's undo that, to really get the tone you're after. Okay, so there is that, but also playing with, so let's go ahead and shade this in. So play with the hue, saturation, and value, but I try to also squint my eyes when I do this where possible. So kind of like, it looks weird, but when you squint like that, it removes the detail out of what you're seeing and you can kind of focus on the contrast. Because I found anyways, sometimes when I'm drawing, that if all the details there, I kind of get bogged down and lost in it, right? So let's go ahead and mask this off. And now on the top, I'm gonna go ahead and pick just our yellow we were using. And I wanna have some strong reflections in the top, almost like something in the scene is being reflected in to the top like that, just a little bit here and there. So now I can deselect, right? Could do the same thing across front here if we wanted. And just for simplicity, I'll erase, but painting and erasing is akin to using tape on a rendering, like an old school rendering. All right, so now, and I'm doing this all on the same layer, partly to challenge myself, but again, to just kind of keep it. Let's use a cool gray, trying to keep it like I would with a real marker rendering. All right, so now let's make another selection on the top. And I like how the yellow is kind of mixing with the gray on the top, so that's why I'm leaving it a little bit. Just deselect, you can reduce the brush size. Now let's decrease value. Get the sides, so away from the light source being somewhere to the top, maybe from the right, it just depends. So if you like using art markers, you'll like these brushes. Let's go ahead as well and just brush in some reflection on the top. It's just these little details that make a difference. So a little reflection in the top of the tape player here, of the buttons themselves. Let's see. I'm gonna need some shadow. Let's make this all gray on the inside. Now this brush is interesting because if I treat it like a real marker, I mean it's a good proxy. It's not, you know, a complete one-to-one, but I don't want to lift the marker off the screen when I'm doing this, because the subsequent strokes will register as a different opacity when there is overlap. So now that I did that, I can shade in, for example, on the middle here. Right, add some shadow. Let's reduce the brush size, add some shadow on the inside here. And on the flip side, which is one of the cool things about digital marker, is if I want to add highlights, it's really easy to do that. It's just a lot harder when you're sketching with real markers to get a white marker. Really, really, really hard. In fact, most white markers kind of suck. All right, so again, all on the same layer. Let's keep going. Is it the best way to work? Nah, but it's quick. Shadow here. Yeah, so after this stream, I'm gonna take a break, and then I think I'll come back on a little later today, maybe for another session where we just do some painting. I feel like painting a robot or something. That's what I feel like doing. All right, let's get some shadow stuff in here, like so. All right, that's feeling pretty good. And you want to put your lightest lights next to your darkest darks, and that's going to give you the contrast you need. So the thing I always say is look in the room you're in, and you'll notice that where the surface is, like your walls, change direction. That's where you're going to be getting contrast, right? So that's what I also mean by lightest lights against darkest darks. All right, so here's an instance where I will use the quick line. Okay, just covering a long distance. Let's get the edges of these buttons. All right, so this is all with that marker brush all on the same layer. Just like so. Let's see. I do need some darkness in here. So I'll throw that on. And let's go ahead and shade in. Plug. And I'm gonna go ahead. Let's make this like kind of funky. I like using this teal, so I'm gonna make the headphones like this bright teal. All right, at least the plastic body portion of the headphones feels right with the yellow. Definitely retro here. All right, and now I can do the little foam cups here. I think they did back in the day, didn't they? I thought Sony made gold Walkmans back in the day, Tim. I'm pretty sure. And if not, I can change the logo. Maybe it's Panasonic, I don't know. Maybe. All right, so here's an example of using the marker to create this little bit of a foam texture. And that's all with the same color. So that's the other thing I like is I can use the same color and create this buildup and get a variety of values in. I want to make this shiny. You can just hit it with some nice crisp blacks here and there, and nice light gray. Let's get our other earmuff. Would it be okay to copy styles? You know, I used to be against that, like really against that, but yeah. And here's why. Because no matter what you do, if you're copying something, you're going to be learning. And then the other part of it is because you're doing it and not the designer that's doing it. And you guys feel free to disagree in the chat, by the way. But you yourself are a filter for what you produce. In other words, because you drew it, it'll be different. Like, it's not going to be the same. So I would say eventually develop your own style, but don't claim it to be your own, and definitely don't do it without giving credit, is what I would say. So don't just copy someone and claim that you did it. Chances are, at least in the creative community, a lot of times the creative community is really small, so things get around. Like I've had people contact me from halfway across the world saying, "Hey, I saw this portfolio. Someone's trying to get a job, and they totally copied your sketch." And I'm like, "Oh, actually, you're right. Here's the sketch." All right, so I'm gonna save some time and just throw in my shadow underneath because I don't want to have to erase everything. And I'm also going to adjust the opacity of the shadow and just make it nice and subtle, just really light. We can just paint that in like so. And 2-finger tap on the layer will allow you to adjust the opacity of the layer. So now I can slide my finger and get a nice subtle shadow on that surface. All right, so let's not throw up as in regurgitate, but add mystery sketch. So there we go. There's mystery's sketch. Thanks again for submitting for this Fan Friday. We'll do one more quick sketch here. Tim says it's better to mimic a style or take parts that you like. The rest is all you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I swear Sony Retro Walkman yellow. Walkman. Some stir fry. Of course they did. They made yellow Walkmans. Or are you saying it looks like gold? Making me second guess myself. But it's all good. Okay. I do want to put a little highlight on here. So let's do that. I'm not even showing you all the tricks, guys. But there are some ways to like really make your sketches pop here if you want. But I do love this marker brush. It's fun. So if you want to try it out, give it a go. Patrons who've been patrons, if you haven't gotten your brushes and you want some, let me know. I'll be happy to hook those up. Patrons and channel members, especially those who've been at it for 2 months or more, just hit me up. I got you, boo. I got you. All right, so there's our Walkman sketch. This file will also be uploaded to the let's see, I'm going to copy this. It'll be uploaded to the Google Drive for channel members and patrons, so you'll have access to that. Okay, let's make a new file, 17 by 11 again. I'm going to say I'll use this as inspiration more so than, let's see, I'm going to go to add. Just as a side note, by the way, if you want to copy and paste something in Procreate, and with the Mac ecosystem in particular, you can actually copy something from the desktop computer and then paste it to your iPad. It's really weird, but it sends it up through the cloud and then pastes it for you. Darren Coase is asking, do you use Sketchbook on the iPad for your sketching? I don't. I've tried, but it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. The shading looks gold, but all good. All right, fair enough. As I was explaining, when you shade with yellow, it's really hard, as you have to lean a little bit into your browns. So if you tap the wrench and hit paste, that's gonna just drop your file in. And now I'm gonna use this as reference. I think Tom left, so maybe he'll catch this later. Let's cut and paste, and now I'll just delete that. I'll use this as my reference. I'm going to focus on line weight and line work here. Let's use the rough stencil. Okay, rough. There it is. Textured, meant to mimic a design sketching pencil, which is a little bit different than, you know, your lead pencil and so forth. All right. Oh, it's you. You're there. I thought you left. My bad. Yeah. So this is Tom's sketch. And I was just gonna kind of use it as inspiration here to create some sound, some sort of device. Now, I'm wondering, Tom, did you intend to have asymmetry in your drawing? Was that intentional, like here? Because if it is, I can try and mimic that. But let me know. I'm kind of a sucker for symmetry, admittedly. So I like to do symmetrical things when I'm drawing. I'm gonna kick this out a little bit, actually. we do like a little pyramid shape here. Feels like it gives a bit of balance to what's happening on the top, and then maybe I could do something like this. But you do have these chamfers that kind of run over top here. Little control deck. I wonder for the control deck, what if instead we had like some surface transition that like wrapped. And I don't know if you're trying to go for retro or not. So my apologies if I'm completely butchering this for you. Everything you see is intentional, at least. Okay. Sounds good. So I'll go ahead and modify, I guess, by just making this a taper instead. Now, again, the cool thing with sketching digitally, one of the cool things is I can make selections. We can swipe, cut and paste. Now it's on its own layer, and I'm going to do a freeform transform and scale this up just a little bit. So now my sketch feels a bit taller. Adjust some of these perspective lines like so. Let's go ahead and get your oscilloscope thing. So when I'm drawing something that's bulbous, like I assume this has a cross section, something like that. Okay. I usually start with an ellipse, and then you can kind of pick a point and then just curve back to the ellipse. All right, because really what you're doing is drawing, this is really hard to see, guys, but a series of cross sections, right, where this is like pushed out a little bit. So that's why I do it that way. I'm gonna add some chrome trim here. Okay. Like so. And let's go ahead and cut right through there. And it looks like you have some sort of microphone thing, some sort of sound related thing here. So we'll sketch in this little silhouette underneath. We wouldn't really have this line or this line. So let's erase that. What if the base is like a full-on cage though, and then it actually like came down? But it looks like your base, yeah, I'll tweak it. Because again, inspiration. I'll frame it that way, inspiration. Sketch Day Live, thanks for joining. Thanks for submitting your sketches for Fan Friday. That's what we're doing today. If you don't know what that is, join the Discord. Sketchaday.com/Discord. Oh, it was a 15-minute sketch. Okay. I will do whatever I want then. All my reminders are coming in. Because I thought I would be done around, yeah. My phone is like, you've got stuff to do. Go do your stuff, man. Go get your stuff done. That's what my phone is saying right now. All right, let's see here. Let's put on some different tunes. Do I add details on my sketch or later? It depends. It depends. And like I said, I tend to be somewhat lazy with my sketches these days. I like the idea that this is some sort of retro thing. So the other day we did a microphone, like a retro microphone. Man, I had this conversation with a friend. I'm not going to say the details of the conversation and the context, but it kind of threw me off this morning. So I'm glad I got to spend some time drawing with you guys, hanging out. So to answer your question earlier about line weight, okay, I'm going to go ahead and explain what I did right here and why. All right. So I have a series of lines like so. no pun intended lines. And we have an outline like so, okay? So we can add some depth to this and we can add some depth to this and show that there is three-dimensionality to it with some tricks, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is we need to think about this in terms of, okay, what am I actually looking at right here? What is that? What am I looking at right there? I'm looking at a series of ribs that have spacing between them, whether that's for sound or heat transfer or whatever. That's what I'm looking at. So from the side, if I were to take a knife and cut through this, oops, it did a quick line on me. If I were to take some sort of magic sci-fi Sketch-A-Day knife and cut through this and get a contour line, what does that look like? Well, it's going to look something like this, and I'm just going to simplify. Okay, something like this. So if I'm looking at, right, these fins, and I also have a light source. By light source, I mean a light bulb. It could be a window, sunlight, whatever. And it is casting light on my scene from up above. The reason I put this heavy line here is that when light passes this edge, it's going to cast a shadow. Okay, it's going to pass this edge, cast a shadow, pass this edge, cast a shadow. So one way to communicate that, right, is to have a heavier line weight on the bottom than I do on the top, because on the top, light's going to hit that edge and it's going to reflect back to me, the viewer, for example, depending on the roundness, sharpness, and so forth of the edge. So that is why when I'm sketching and I'm doing something like a grill or vent, something like this, that's why I tend to leave the upper line a little lighter. Now, in addition to that, where I can't see past the edge of something, I'll darken it up a little bit, like right here. Just darken that up. Another thing that'll help is contour lines. So here, contour line, you could have that going like so, right? So instead of the line just going straight down, having a series of lines, almost like this is going out. I'll draw arrowheads so you can see, then back, then down, then out again. Right, so that's what's happening there. All right, so all of that thought goes into that portion of the sketch, and that is why it looks the way it does. All right, I think I will just make this a pencil sketch, digital pencil sketch. So there's lots of things to pay attention to, including putting a double line on something. That's something I could probably do a whole stream on, but the idea there being you are communicating that there are two parts or materials coming together. Let's see. So it looks like you have something on your little bubble display here. So I'm going to go ahead and add like a highlight of some sort, like so. And then let's shade in around that, just nice light shading. Change the pressure on the pencil. If you want to clean up before that, before you shade, you can just erase. I'm just going to run with it. Just like so. Focus, and we're done. Okay, so just like that. And then we've also got your little audio thing bottom here. It looks like you have kind of a grooved or gridded, I'm guessing that's mesh or something like that on it. All right, I'm talking about this area, guys, on sketch that T-Phage did. So that being said, let's try and honor that a bit. I'm going to clean up this little area. All right, so whenever, and I want to keep pointing this out, that whenever you see like really perfect sketches or someone like some sketch online that just looks pristine, chances are they've cleaned it up after the fact or during their sketch process were fastidious about undoing things along the way. So just something to, you know, make things a little easier for yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Keep pushing through. There's someone I follow online who draws a lot of cars, and I was like, hey man, I love your work, but how long do these take? And he was like, honestly, about 4 to 6 hours per sketch. And I'm like, I mean, I said, cool, that's awesome, but do I really want to sit and spend 4 to 6 hours on a drawing? Not me personally. So depends on what you like and what you want to do with your work, but that's just me. And then, you know, you think about something like concept art painting, and certainly there's shortcuts there. Some people speed paint, for example. All right, so here's another example, a little extra line weight. I don't want to go too heavy though. I think I'll add some airbrush to this one. Maybe some light color and a little airbrush, but a little line weight here on the correct sides, and it's gonna give a more 3D appearance to this little grid on the microphone. And let's go ahead and throw in a shadow. It's actually not correct because it's coming in at an angle, so I'll just shade it in this way. A little bit in here. So yeah, if you're wondering what you're doing, you just joined the stream. This is Fan Friday, where I take your sketches, we look at them, celebrate your awesome work from the Discord. But I'm just giving my take on things here, real quickish. Plus, I need to eat lunch. I haven't eaten yet. I've not eaten yet today. All right, so if this were like a real design project sketch, I would need to do some work to kind of figure out what's happening on that corner. So let's just go for it. I'm gonna reduce the width here, round that out, and then this is some sort of rounded corner. I kind of have to think about the geometry of this corner. I'm gonna have your little antenna thing right here and suggest that it's actually retractable. A little pencil to make that shiny. And let's clean up our outline or make it bold, more bold. So I'm gonna move this down a bit. Not sure what's happening over here, but I don't really care anymore. And there's the sketch. Let's rotate so it feels a bit better, like so. And a little bit of erasing. Remember, 2-finger tap to undo, 3-finger tap to redo if you're working in Procreate. And many drawing apps are following suit. I know for example that Fresco does that now. All right, so T-Phage had some buttons here, so I'm just gonna kind of mimic these. Throw these in. And draw another line like so. on the corners, let's see, you had play and you had pause. Looks like you had some sort of record and then like backtrack here. I know, 15-minute sketch. It's all good though. Not mine, Tom's, I mean. Or is it Tom or just T-Phage? What do you prefer? Tom F. Yeah, something doesn't feel right on the corner here. I think it's because there's taper to it. It still feels a little odd, so that's where I thought some airbrushing would help. So let's grab that. I'm gonna jump to my crisp air, make a new layer, and behind all this, let's go ahead. Should I do some red? No, I'll just do gray. So another tip as well, if you've done your drawing and you want to make some adjustments, don't feel afraid to do something like warp. So if you just want to pull that in so it feels a little bit better. Have I tried paper by WeTransfer? I have not, but I've heard it's a good collaboration tool if you're working over distances or with different teams. Thank you for the badge purchase on Instagram, by the way. Not sure who did, but much appreciated. Instagram is matching contributions to creators this month. And I appreciate your help, certainly. All right, so just a little airbrush here. I did make these airbrushes specifically to help speed up the process of adding some form and shade to my work. And hopefully you find value in that as well. All right, so a little bit of a shadow core through there. Let's make this bigger. Get some nice shadow or tone on the top. Just change the size, and on the far side, get that little shadow core in. And straight down here. Now, a little tip for you, if you change this layer to something like multiply, that the layer that has the tone, you could put color behind that layer, and you would end up with pretty reasonable value change on your colors. All right, a little shade there, maybe under these buttons. Don't really want to overdo it, but under those buttons, maybe a little cast shadow there, just like we have there. On the side. And I messed up, so sometimes I have noticed with drawing apps, it's not, oh, I guess I did that all in the same layer. Cool. It's not just Procreate, but some drawing apps, like, if you're not careful, sometimes you can throw down strokes inadvertently. Never fun. Never fun. All right, quick logo on the top. I don't know what that is, but there you go. So that is my redo of your sketch. Oh, I need to stretch. But thankfully, I'm wrapping up. Okay, quick chat check-in. Lions is here for the me puns. Yeah, so hopefully, have I ever tried using the left hand for sliders? No, I have not, Dirk. That I'm not ambidextrous enough for that, so that would probably drive me crazy. I've never tried that. So pardon me, hopefully this overview's been good enough for you to at least get your feet wet in Procreate. If you've had some questions, definitely skip back, watch the video again. I'll be sure to chapter this out, so take a look in the video description on YouTube. You'll have time codes to jump to whatever part of this almost 2-hour live stream that you want to check out. All right, thanks again for submitting for Fan Friday. It was a pleasure to see your sketches. Let's take another look at what you did. This is one thing I hate about Procreate. I'm going to show you. This is one thing I hate. So if you go to, at least if you're using one of these iPads Pro and you want to go home, you have to swipe up. But when you swipe up, it only activates the home bar. So you have to swipe up and then swipe again. And then you go home. If you guys have an easier way to do this, let me know, because right now I don't. All right, so swipe up and now we're out. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the Discord once again. This is our Discord server. We've got plenty of channels for you, general chat, gear and materials. So if you have information about some interesting tool that you found, I'd love to see it. Feel free to share that. Video requests, as well as being able to show your work. All right, so in the weekly sketch challenge channel, that's where we have some of our sketches here. So real quick again, Mystery, thanks for your submission. Awesome work. You do sketch a ton, so keep it up. Keep practicing. Love this violin. I think this is probably one of my favorite sketches from this week. So thank you for submitting that as well. Very delicate. Love the construction lines. The Walkman, you guys saw that. We have, I guess the machine gun makes noise. T-Phage with some early concepts, and of course you guys just saw that one. The noisy cricket from Men in Black. Nice work. Actually, I think the chrome works pretty well if the background feels a little distracting. So if you were to like maybe confine that geometrically, it would kind of help a little bit. All right. Radek says, I have the old iPad Pro with the button. Yeah, I miss the button whenever I'm trying to go back home, but I'm definitely going to get the new iPad next year when it comes out, so no more home button for me. We have Mauricio killing it with his very subtle yet effective technique at lighting. So check it out. I posted a link in the chat if you want to see his Instagram. Here's that example of reflected light I was talking about. Just on the corner of this product, you can see the light from the ground is reflecting back into the product. Pretty effective technique there, right, to kind of tie everything together. Mecha guy, gerbil with a sound rifle, super cute. Another from Mystery, explosive Yoda with the saxophone sketch. Nice work. And again, for those who aren't channel members, one of the perks of being a channel member, I should say, as an ultimate fan, I will mail you a sketch every month. So if you haven't gotten yours, let me know. I'll be happy to mail that to you anywhere in the world. But you got to be an ultimate fan, either on Patreon or YouTube. But these are some of the sketches we did this week. So I think this was the stream that crashed. So if you missed it, check it out. But there's my saxophone as well. So I did one too, Explosive Yoda. Appreciate your submission as well. Okay, so nice work. Thank you. They're super complex and very hard to draw. Vasit, thanks for the headphones. Super clean. I'm assuming you used templates or guides or curves, but try and work on those freehand skills. Okay, try and work on those freehand sketching skills, because you're not always going to be able to sit there and necessarily have the tools to do those crisp lines. So that's why I try and push myself to practice over and over and over and get those warm-ups in. All right, I'm gonna oh, Tom says I've never had anyone call me T-Phage. So Tom, okay, Tom, much appreciated. I'm gonna take a break, have lunch. I might come back. If not, I love you all. Thank you, and I will see you later. Thanks again to the patrons and channel members. It means a lot. I would still do, don't take this the wrong way, I'd still do it without you, but it certainly makes it easier to keep doing this with your help. So I just want to let you know, I mean it sincerely. Thank you. And to all of you who've watched, thank you as well for being here. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here, being passionate with your craft, helping others in the Discord. Really, really, really awesome. Like, it makes me feel so good to see that we're all able to connect through the power of visual communication and share our passion and love for it. So I just want to close out and say that feel free to reach out anytime, and remember, passion is a process, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Sketch Day.